And you've just heard Runaway by Flair from the EP, also called Flair, which is out now. And I'm delighted to be joined by Tony and Lewis from the band. Hello, guys.
Hiya.
Hello.
So before we talk about the EP, tell listeners what you two do in the band.
I'm Lewis. I play rhythm guitar for Flair.
And I'm Tony. I'm lead vocals.
And who's missing?
So we've got lead guitar Johnny, and then bass guitar Johnny, and Callum on the drums as well.
It is a kind of classic rock lineup, isn't it? Is that what you always want it to be? That kind of rock band, which it's clear in the EP. That's the sound that you've got.
Yeah, I think initially it was like a 3-piece with just guitar, bass, drums. And then it just kind of branched out. I joined in as the rhythm guitarist so that Johnny could take some more lead roles. He could do some more melodies and stuff on the tracks.
And I've never been very good at guitar anyway, so I'll stick to vocals.
And when it comes to making the music, how does it work? Is it the same for each track, or do people have different roles?
That can really vary. Like sometimes it will be one of us, well, not one of them, one of the other boys will come in with like a song they've written on guitar, and then we'll sort of work around that. But sometimes as well, we'll just be in practice and we'll be jamming, and we kind of sort of organically come up with something together. So yeah, it kind of varies song to song.
So let's talk about the EP and the songs on it. It's a 3-song EP. How did that come about? How did you decide that these were going to be the ones that are included?
Well, a lot of they're sort of our newer tracks, the 3 that are on the EP. And the tracks that are before that are of a different sound. So it just made sense that for these newer tracks to release them as this EP just on their own, to sort of like, bookmark that new sound and sort of signify a new direction for us.
And I'm always interested in how people decide to release music, because it's changed over the years and now it changes quite a lot. So why it was always going to be an EP, or did you think we'll hold on and maybe do something longer, or just release one track? Why did you decide that this was the way to go?
I think we wanted an album first. We wanted a whole album, but
bunch, but I feel like we've not got enough of the songs yet for our sound moving forward. We want yet for a full album. But we've already released a couple of singles, so
yeah, we just didn't want
to the natural kind of next step.
We didn't want to rush a lot of the songs as well, so that's just what was ready at the moment. We released a couple singles from that, and then I think we're hopeful to release either another EP later this year or an album to sort of flesh that sound out more.
And is there a feeling that, we should get something out there so that either people remember that we're about, or that people can hear this new lineup and kind of new sound that we've got?
I think people were coming to the live shows and then being like pleasantly surprised by what they sounded like, because our first couple of songs that were out on Spotify and stuff didn't really sound like the live shows, because the sound had evolved from that. So I think we were dead eager to get that EP out and those singles out, just so that people could actually leave the shows and then go and listen to songs that they'd just heard,
That's a really good point, I guess, because if folk are keen, say, we had a great night there, that was a cracking band, and then they go and listen to stuff which is maybe a couple of years old now, and the tracks then. Yeah. I guess that is true. It's not what they would be expecting. And you have got a really live sound, and I wondered if that makes sense when I say that. Is that to do with how you record, or is that just how the band are?
I feel like when we're recording, we don't try and we want to experiment and try out new things while we're recording, but at the same time we don't want to overstretch and then have something that sounds completely different recorded as to what we want to play it live, because I've seen that way a few bands, even the biggest bands, you go and you hear a song that they're playing live, is that just sounds nothing like what the actual song sounds like on their album.
I think the songs are quite theatrical, a lot of them on that EP, so they need to be structured and played the way that they were recorded, if that makes any sense. There's not really a lot of room for improvisation on them. They have set lengths, they have set durations, and that's how they fit into that set, and they work in the context of the other songs that are around them.
Yeah. It sound like 3 songs that kind of belong together.
Yeah, yeah.
See, in the future how that might work extended on for an album.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is to get some sort of concept album like that, where we have 8 tracks or 8 or 10 tracks that all follow on, and they're all sort of related. They all sort of speak to one another.
I like an album that kind of tells a story.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think even over these 3 tracks, you're beginning to see that, the beginning of that. And also, I watched the video for Runaway, which is a live performance video. Was that something that you enjoy doing, that side of things?
Yeah, we enjoyed filming it.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoyed filming it. We just recorded, I don't know if I should be saying this, but we just recorded another music video for Sakharine last weekend. And I don't know any release dates or anything just now, but that should be coming out very shortly once we have everything finalised on it. But the live music video that we done for Runaway, we were happy with it and stuff, and it showed sort of our live side. It showed some clips from our most recent gigs, and it showed clips from us at rehearsals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool compilation video. It was nice to see everything married together like that. I liked how it went from the rehearsal studio to the live show and stuff.
I really liked the way it went from black and white to colour and back again. I was thinking, this is like the Wizard of Oz. This is magic. but so playing live, clearly that's an important part of what you do.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say that's my favourite part as well.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. There's no point in...
Sorry, on you go.
I was going to say, there's no point in releasing music if you can't then get out and then play it. I think that's why, not to go back to COVID and stuff, but 2020 when you couldn't play any gigs or anything, or it was rubbish for a lot of these bands.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're very lucky that we can play gigs every week and try and get our sound out to as many people as we can.
When did the band come together then in its current incarnation? Was that would have been way after COVID, I'm taking it?
Yeah, so the current incarnation would have been, I was kind of just out of uni, and I really I needed something to do other than just working. So I started looking for a band. So I joined about March after meeting Callum, the drummer, online, done a couple of auditions, and then was it about October that year?
Is that 2023?
No, 2022.
2022. Yeah, October 2022 probably. That's when the 5 of us all got in a room together.
So in the earlier, when it was just a 3-piece, was that still post-COVID, or were you kind of trying to get music out? I'm just, because you mentioned COVID yourself, and I'm thinking, yeah, that was a real difficult time to be involved in anything performance-wise.
So the other guys were together, but they'd never gigged or recorded anything, and I think COVID was a big bit of that, because I think they were maybe going to start trying to get gigs, and then COVID hit, and so they couldn't even practice together. Never mind get a gig going.
I think the audiences really and bands as well had kind of missed that live experience. You always saw that when we were allowed to go back out. And I think I've been to quite a lot of gigs recently. There's still that feeling of we missed this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And what's a Flair live experience like?
Sweaty.
Yeah, sweaty on a really good night. It's pretty high energy. Usually, hopefully we're playing to a packed room. It's quite theatrical and stuff. Our shows start quite slowly, quite moody, and then they sort of build up to this crescendo towards the end. We used to, when we first started, we used to just go out and just full throttle it for 40 minutes, half an hour, and then we realised that that's not really sustainable. We need to kind of
you got to if you're just keeping it high energy all the time, they'll lose interest. You got to kind of bring down and up. We like to get the crowd involved a lot as well during our shows.
Yeah.
So it is kind of telling a story in your live show as well.
Yeah, definitely. The songs all contextually have a place together, but that makes it very difficult whenever we start changing set lists and stuff. because then we all maybe pair these songs together, and then if someone else wants to pair that song with that song, and it creates a lot of arguments in the band.
Well,
You know?
I was thinking, I was going to ask you about influences, and if you all share the same influences, or are they quite diverse?
Quite diverse, I think.
Yeah, I think quite diverse, but I think that's also a good thing. Like, if we all just had the exact same music taste, then like none of us would be able to go, oh no, that's rubbish, because we'd all like, if we all thought that everything that all we did was class, then I don't think we'd be going anywhere.
So how do those conversations kind of work out when you're talking about the sound of a track, or does it happen quite easily, or are there kind of quite a lot of discussions, let's put it that way?
I think there's like healthy conflicts. There's a healthy conflict of interest.
We're really blunt with each other sometimes.
Yeah, we've got a good relationship where we can be quite brutal with one another, or also we can also say that, I'm wrong here. Let's go with your idea.
Mm.
It's a collaborative effort, but I mean we do kind of butt heads sometimes, don't we? But in a good way.
Mm.
So it sounds as a good, healthy, honest chat is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like most of the songwriting duties, you definitely deal with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Mostly all the lyrics come through Tony, but musically we, us guitars, the two guitars and the bass, just hash it out until something comes out at the end of it.
I'm always interested in the songwriter, Tony, because you can have lyrics, but do you also have an idea of how they are going to sound, or is it just I've written these lyrics down, now let's separately work on what it's going to sound like?
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of singers that do it in a different way, but I always like to kind of, I'll have lyrics backed up sometimes that I think, oh, that would sound good with this track, but until I've heard like what the actual music sounds like, I try not to sort of decide on a melody.
And we've just say the EP's got 3 tracks. We're going to hear another track, Swan, in a moment. But do you have others there that could have made this and that may going forward make another EP or even an album?
Yeah. So we've got another song called City Lights, which is was one of my favourites that we do anyway, and yeah, we're looking to record that one next. And then we've got a few more in the works as well, and there's also a couple that we've kind of just started writing that already sound quite promising.
And what's next for you? Have you got any gigs coming up that you could tell us about, or any other future recordings that you haven't mentioned?
We're playing in Nice and Sleazy's
Thursday, 6th of March.
Thursday, the 6th of March.
Oh, brilliant. That's a great venue again. That'll be a great night.
We've had a couple of really nice gigs there before. Like the way that the room's kind of quite like narrow when you get closer to the stage. It like always looks packed when you get people to the front. It's good for the energy.
It's my favourite venue in the whole of Glasgow. I love playing Nice and Sleazy just because it's just low ceilings. It's dead sweaty, dead hot in there. It's great.
It absolutely can be a sweatbox. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, but you've already mentioned that ideally, hopefully, you'll get to do an album. But is that way down the line? Is that still kind of quite a bit in the distance?
I don't know. I think we definitely need to get into the studio again. Like Tony said, we're planning on recording our next track, City Lights, pretty soon. We'll see how that goes, and I don't know if it'll be a case of another couple single releases, then maybe a second EP.
Like if something that we release does really well and there's a taste for an album, then that would also expedite that as well.
Yeah, I guess feedback's kind of important too, is it?
Yeah, definitely.
And in terms of you said you were going into a studio. Do you produce your own stuff? Do you work with a producer?
Yeah, we do. That EP was recorded with Blair Crichton. Is it Crichton or Crichton?
Yeah, Crichton, I think, from the Dead Pony band.
Yeah, he plays guitar in Dead Pony. He's a fantastic producer. He does a lot of bands in and around Glasgow. He's got a really big, huge, like maximalist sound. It's very loud and very raw. It's very good.
I think that's a great way of describing your sound as well. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me, and all the very best for the future.
No, thanks so much for having us.
And this is Flair and Swan.